Peace and love. This is Chief Yehoshua, the Houthi Bishop O'Day, reported in from the domicile of Illinois, uh, District of Chicago, Mecca in the West. Um, Today's cipher is called Heru, Wajid, I, which is Heru. We would be dealing with the symbol or the metaphorically speaking symbol of the eyes and what we see. And programming, reprogramming, the ability of the ability of not thinking for ourselves and the ability to think for ourselves. The title I want to go into first is Man Has Lost His Connection with the Stars. We have got caught up in so much religious stuff, even with these fake spiritual leaders and guiders and people that's trying to come into the science and think they know what they're doing, but they're really turning this thing into a business. As a chief, you have to understand what you're up against. You can't mislead your people. As a chief, you're a servant to your people. And that's what a lot of people got to understand. People be wanting titles, positions, and feel like they're obligated to be treated as royalty.
Peace, brother.
Supposed to do nothing. When it's really a working board, everybody has to put in work. A chief is a servant to his tribe. His tribe is to protect the chief, but the chief is to protect the tribe as well. Things I want to get into is speaking on the New World Order. The New World Order has been activated. The AIs are taking over. Our youth is being programmed by artificial intelligence, cell phones. They always want to be on the phones. You have YouTube channel where it's controlled a certain way to allow certain videos to pop up when you first get to YouTube, and it basically directs the youth to what videos they should be watching, which is a form of manipulation and control of the mind. TVs, you have smart TVs, you have self-checkout, virtual meetings, computers of all kinds. And they can trace your movement off your serial number, which is your social security number, which is non-cipher, which we talked about the number 9 before. You have 9 numbers in your social. Some people doesn't, but that means you got your social from back in the day. We as the ancient ones have lost our touch with humanity, with nature, with the stars, with the solar system. These religions are being set up to take away the knowledge of self and to humble you to the point where you're not questioning anything. They even had you at the point where they told you wasn't supposed to question God. But how is a child to get their answer from their father if they never ask questions? You take away the freedom of speech. You take away the ability of learning and understanding when you take away the sense of asking questions. As a chief, we have a lot of homework to do. We have a lot of studying to do, or as economics, health, military tactics, surviving, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that has been implemented in Washington, but there's one thing that hasn't been implemented, and that is our military. And that's what my elder was pushing for, but it never happened in that time during 2006. So he fell back because he said we couldn't secure our women or our children. Our people ain't had the proper training. I mean, some people took karate classes and tai chi and things of this sort, but that still doesn't put us in a position to serve and protect. So when I stepped up and took his position, and I ain't take it, he gave it to me. So it wasn't taken. It was passed on. He told me I should implement a military, so that's what I did. But I must teach the chiefs to open up their third eye, pay attention to what's going on in front of you. Everything is a public notice from the New World Order, the Vatican. Even with the chief of defense, he stated that you should go back and check out these movies because everything that's happening in these movies are going on right now. There's something on HBO Max called The Dun or something like that, DUN something. But it's basically how they implement in the new world and how they set it up. You have to understand that we're going into a new era. We're going into an age of information, and nothing can be hidden no more. Everything is coming to the light. Even with the ancient ones being hidden, we are now returning. And it's really the return of the ancient one. That's why the Empress wrote the book before she transitioned, The Return of the Ancient One. How many members is in the Washington Empire? There's not many stars that's in the sky. And I said it in a previous class. We have to understand the science and the math and all of this madness. And we gotta quit taking on the culture of everybody else when we have our own. We don't have to be like Africans. We don't have to be like Arabs. We don't have to be like Chinese. America is not a new continent. And it damn sure is not the continent of the European. Europe wasn't even a European continent. It was named after the African goddess Yoruba, which a lot of these characters they put in comic books. So you really think that these are comic characters, but really these are real people that they're trying to get you to think that they're some made up superhero. Even with Superman, with the S on his chest, which is the serpent, which we all know serpent means wisdom. That's why the pharaohs that had the crown with the snake on it, it wasn't an evil symbol. It was a symbol that the man that's crowned with the serpent was a wise man. He had the experience of wisdom. But these are the things that are not taught among our people. Our people are lied to over and over again. We have Halloween coming up. Halloween was a sense of what people put on masks and murder our people, as well as Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls was really named Nigger Fall, where they killed over 50,000 Moors, men and women, and threw them overboard. But these are the things that are not talked about. Even Christmas, they said Jesus was born on December the 25th, which that's a lie. If you go back and check in the historian books, that was the day of Nimrod, which was a European god, which he was incensed with. He had some type of obsession with his own mother. Nimrod slept with his mother. And the day they was praised was on the 25th. But these are the things that are not talked about. Even when we go into January, which is Julius Caesar, it was named after Roman emperor. Know what I mean? And New Year's don't start on January the 1st. It starts in April, springtime. When it's cold and the snow drops, doesn't that mean all the plant dies out? And when springtime comes, the regrowth, the new roots spring out and push all the flowers out. That's called a new year, which really means new growth from the roots. The old must die, the new must come. There's nothing new under the sun. So these are things that we must tap into our inner self. We must align back with the stars. We must deal with meditation, because if you're not in the right state of mind, then how can you make a righteous decision? If you're under the stress, emotions, and you have no control of these things, then you cannot be a proper leader. Us as leaders, we take a lot of hits. We deal with a lot of emotions. We deal with a lot of people. We deal with a lot of corruptions. We deal with a lot of bashing and decaralyzing people. But sometimes we have to step back, renew ourselves, and come back. Because the biggest war is with yourself. The number one war is with yourself. The higher self always going to be with the lower self. It's dealing with the matrix. You're dealing with the yin and yang. Which one will you let overtake you? Are you going to go on a positive charge or a negative charge? And these are the things that need to be talked about. So a lot of people want to be chiefs, but they don't know what the characteristics is. They don't know what they're supposed to learn. You have a free mind. You have the right to research any information you please. But as a researcher and a scientist, you must bring back your people to science and the law of being knowledgeable. Peace and love. So for that section, I just want to open up the floor for questions, and then we'll move to the next part. Any questions or concerns?
Just something I want to build on. I know last week we was talking about a set, or the last class, I should say. And today we're talking about Heru. But I just want to add that from my understanding, a set, also represents the feminine energy, the kundalini that sits on the base of your spine. And once you, practice doing certain meditations and qigong and stuff, the energy rises. And when it rises, it meets asa, which is your pineal gland, and kisses asa, and then what happens is, Heru transform. So Heru consciousness. So I think last class I didn't get to bring up that comment, so I just said. So I just wanted to bring up that. Islam.
I say Islam. So basically what the brother picking back on is the set, which is the base of the spine, which you got the 33. That's why I said numbers is science and numbers. And when you get into the Kemetic science, I said it's a feminine energy. So a lot of people might get a set mixed with a physical person, but it's identity, which is an energy, which is a principle that you must apply to yourself. Because all of these different gods and goddess, once you start connecting the roots and the chakras together, then you start applying the principle, then you become God within. But if you don't apply these principles with the Kemetic entities, you become the lower self gods and goddesses. Because your lower self is dealing with the demigods, the demons. We call them demons, but they're still gods. They're still principles. They still hold a negative energy. And you can be controlled by the shadow of the 5-point star, or you can be the 5-point star. And the shadows of the 5-point star is the lower self, the dark side, was not dealing with the melanin of the skin, but the negative charge. And when you're dealing with the 5-point star that's presented, you're dealing with the higher self. So always understand that this war that you think is with everybody else is really with yourself. Becoming your higher self. The higher self does not die. The lower self always dies. It dies every time you close your eyes and rest and wake up again. You have to let it go. Your body has to reboot. So when you're dealing with Heru, which was, they try to convert Heru into Jesus. Aset was converted into Saint Mary. And the Tsar was converted into God, but in a sense, they try to make that Saint Joseph. So we have to build on our set. We have to build on our Heru. You have to build on your Tsar. And a lot of people take this as a physical God, but it's a principle and it's an energy that you must channel. Do our ancestors roam around the universe? Of course. Energy never stopped. It always motion. The clock goes forward. It never goes back. So we must elevate, become more intelligent, and advance the way of thinking. Understand the data, beta, and theta, the artificial intelligence, because we are the intelligent ones. But now we have a new world order that is setting up a system that are called AIs. So our counterpart as humans are now robots. So our competition will now be robots. Can you find what's going on? Can you find a solution of the problem as a human? Or can the artificial intelligence find the problem and solution before you? So when this happens, what would the people prefer? A human or a robot? They will prefer the robot because it can get the job done quicker. But when we have pineal glands, the robot doesn't. It's certain things that we have inside the human body that was given from the creator that you cannot put inside these artificial intelligence. You can give them common speeches, you can give them heat razor senses, etc., but you still can't give them a brain of their own. They still can't vibrate like we vibrate. There's certain things that they cannot do. And that's you growing into the Heru. Heru went back to fight the Shaitan, which was considered Set. But that's a whole different cipher. But that's going back with fighting with your lower self. Every day we fight with our lower self. But then we run into a whole nother universe, which is another being that have issues, and they're sending out attractions our way, and it's going back and forth. Now it's a duality. If you pay attention to the planets, they rotate around each other. They would never clash with each other. They know their purpose, they know their principles, and they know that they're immortal, and they're going to keep rotating. See, we're almost like on the lowest plane. So we're fighting with lower self every day, trying to figure out who we really are. But we're so caught up with the illusions of the world that we can't even think straight. Every day you wake up, you probably do the same exact thing every day. There's something you do every day, exactly the same. And what is this called? It's called programming. You wake up, like my daughter, she'll wake up, first thing she wants to do is go get her phone. And she does it every single day. Because now she has been programmed that every day I wake up, I need to go get on YouTube and see what's going on and watch my favorite shows and keep up with it. How do we keep up with things more than we keep up with ourselves? How can I argue about what you're not doing and I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do? That's our oxymoron. And we have been enslaved mentally since 1865. See, everybody keep thinking that Abraham Lincoln freed us from slavery. No. He transferred you over as a good, a service, property to the state. We don't no longer have to beat you. We're trying to transfer these slaves into a bank account where they become corporate people. But our people don't see it like that. You still running around on a plantation and don't even know it. Because natural people don't pay taxes. Natural people don't answer to corporate people. Natural people only follow the laws of the land. But our people don't even know what's the laws of the land? What's the Constitution? What they state Constitution? What's international law? What's the clear rights of indigenous people, Article 1 through 30? These are things that once you become a chief, it's your job to go out and enlighten the people on who we are. Because right now we at war with a religious corporation that's under a queen named Elizabeth. And we're the ancient ones. Stop acting like we have to take on the culture of everybody else when we don't. All of these cultures around the earth belongs to us. But they broke them down in sections. I put in the chat that there was a German man that divided the races. And he made the Ethiopian, the African descent the lowest race. And he did this on purpose. If you was born God, and I teach you as a child that you're not God and you're a slave and et cetera, how could you activate these energies? How could you activate your true self? You have been brainwashed and told that you are something that you're not. You're a human, but you weren't around here acting like you a damn dog. How so? Because you was taught that you was a dog, but when another human sees you as a human, but he is taught as well that you're a dog as well. You have to get back to yourself. You have to study. You have to pay attention what you're up against. Because if you don't, you're going to lose. Over and over and over again. As a chief, like I said before, you are a servant. You're not here to hurt people. Lie, finesse, manipulate, to destroy, to rape, to kill. But there is a time to kill. There's a time to heal. There's a time for all of that. But you as a righteous leader, a righteous brother or sister, you must govern yourself according to law. These documents and status corrections and name correction, you have to study these documents as a chief. Because when your people come and ask you, how fill these documents out, chief, and you don't know, you become incompetent. You lose the nobility title as being a chief because you don't know. I'm not going to say that you know everything, but you should know the basics and beyond that. We have a lot of clearing up to do. We have to get back to our original selves. Them Indians that's on the reservations, those are not the indigenous people. Those are really Indians from India. They don't belong here. Them people that call themselves Muslims and try to bring you into their mosque jigs, to be honest, that's not our Muslim brothers. Because them billion-dollar businesses you have and hotels, and we don't get a percentage of that. You're operating on our land for free. These Europeans gave you tax cuts and free taxes for up to 8 years. But we're being taxed as indigenous people on our own land, and it's going to continue to happen like this until you correct your status and you take your rightful seat among the nations. These are things that we must understand as a people. I mean, I get tired of arguing with Moors back and forth, trying to see what this is that right. I had a Moor earlier. He talking about prove that my temple ain't right. I said Dr. Aline was on live and he was busting it all the way down to a T with all the documents from the UN, from North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. The brother was so lazy that he said, I'm not getting up there to watch no YouTube video 3 hours and 47 minutes. I said, well, damn, you just don't want the truth then. Stop asking me to prove anything when the crown prince just dropped the jewels on you. I'm not going to argue with nobody else, and I'm glad he did the video. I'm just going to send you and tell you got to sit down for 3 hours and 47 minutes. And if you don't like it, then you just don't want the truth. Because we as Washington, we don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Once them notice goes out and we told you who we are, that's it. We're just gonna stand on that. And we don't want weak individuals that get ran down and can't stand on their dean. You have to enforce law. These people not gonna enforce law for you. A lot of these temples, they're not out here in the streets dealing with the youth and the community or trying to show the way. These people are lying. You forget some of this stuff is a business. A business was never here to give you freedom. A business is made to sell you a product, and that's it. The church ain't sell you nothing but hope. You was hoping that this was going to happen in your life, but did you get up and do something about it yourself? That's the question. And that's what we have to realize. But I'll open the floor for questions and concerns so we can dialogue back and forth so it ain't just me talking.
Ooh, man, I want to say peace to all the brothers, man. Love y'all. Like I said again, I'm honored to be a part of the nation. I'm taking it in, man. I'm getting spoon fed. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Like, not even bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, brother. Like I thought I knew. You know how sometimes you think you know more, but there's always more to learn. That's the spirit I'm in right now, and I'm being a student to the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because it's more I need to learn, like you said, in order to move a certain way, especially the people, and be able to give them the right message based on the things that you should know, that was given to us. You know, without that information, it's like how far do you expect to go? And I like I said, man, I'm just soaking it in. I'm just soaking it in.
So, question: if you can change any situation with how this government treat our people, what would it be?
You said, what would I do if the government asked me about our people?
If you can change any situation of how the government treats our people, that could be judicial, that could be business wise, religious wise.
You saying how do I look at it, or
if you can change, what would you change about the situation if you had the power to change certain things? Say you wanted to change law, or you wanted to change a proceedings, or how our people is classified.
Right. And that's the first step right there. You have to know the truth. And if you don't seek it, how can you actually walk in a direction to say you're going out to bring any change that you want? You have to know what the truth is in order to walk in the truth. You see what I'm saying? I remember the movie The Book of Eli, just going down a narrow path, and there's so much distractions. But it's so hard to distract him because his mind is already on the truth, and he had the blueprint. All praises to the Most High. It's like you have the blueprint, but you have to abide, and you have to listen, and you have to be willing to put in the work to get the results.
And that's how we should carry ourselves with this demonstration. Watching the movie The Book of Eli, he stood what he stood on. Mm-hmm. And that's how we have to walk with this calling. There's certain movies that are symbolic, but there's certain movies that are telling you what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And we like, oh, this shit entertainment. Nah, I mean, this is just for the good of entertainment. No, it's a message, and you have to apply it to yourself. And if you don't apply it to yourself, guess what? It's not going to work out for you.
And that's the important. I think, brother, that is the important thing. That if I was to want change in the government, well, if I was to want change to be able to apply it, it's especially to the people, it would be, you know what I'm saying? You gotta take out the fun. You gotta take out the entertainment. You gotta take out the thing that pleases your flesh. You see what I'm saying? It's like more so tapping in with that inner self. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people look at the things, and a lot of people get that impression from these movies, and they like, dang, I should really try that. It could benefit my life. Oh, dang, that's a strong person to, that's giving me an example that I can learn from. But instead, they look at it as like you said, you sit back and it's entertainment because there's no accountability for us. Everybody is looking for somebody else to do the job for them. So and the change would be us putting in that effort, us getting uncomfortable and getting out of the comfortable that we thought was comfortable. Because the comfortable stuff that we're in right now is very detrimental to why it's hard for us to get to that liberation that we need. So it's accountability. You got to have that spirit, and you got to be and I'm sorry to say, you got to be ready to die, because sometimes this shit it's what it come with. Because especially when you standing on truth, this is why so much odds is against it. This is why it's being suppressed so much, because it's like when you walk in it, you're going to deal with people not liking you. You're going to deal with not too many wanting to get up and go. So that's the state of mind. A lot of people is stuck into like you say, they stuck into a matrix. They can't read between the lines. They can't, have comprehension skills and critical thinking skills to break a situation down quickly to see what all the odds are. They just one track minded, and it's so sad that you say that, the kids, they get up, they go straight to the thing. It's like the reality is getting taken away so much to the point it's starting to become like a fairy tale. And the things that people should see dead in front of their face, they looking at it as if it's a joke, when really you being fucked. We all being fucked. We all being lied to. And exactly why I feel like what I'm a part of now and what we are representing and standing on is always going to be a bigger purpose and bigger results for it, because it's what we don't have. But I'll pass the floor.
Shay, any more questions or concerns? Come on, y'all. I need y'all to engage something. Sister, song. The brother to talk. The sister, somebody. Y'all done fell asleep over there.
I'm still here, brother.
No.
Alina, I see you took your mic off. You got the floor.
Oh no, I was just saying I wasn't asleep though. I'm taking notes.
No questions from none of the sisters. Me as students, how can you get answers if you don't ask? That goes back to questioning God. How can God give you an answer if you never can ask him a question?
Right. Here's my question. I do have a question, especially for you being at your position, because I know it's a lot of pressure. I know it's a lot of accountability. I know it's a lot, to feel like having to be the one. And it's a lot of important pieces to the puzzle too. You have other strong brothers with knowledge as well, and sisters that's around to bring forth the movement. Me personally, I would be like, I wanna know, like, is this something that we can actually bring that's gonna bring change to the people in a way that they don't look at it as we're the enemy, because we're trying to create something that they can't understand.
We're not creating anything new. our ancestors have been conquered, but their children wasn't conquered. And we're looking the enemy in his eyes. And majority of us is saying, please don't kill us like you did our ancestors.
Right.
But brothers like myself says, you're going to be summoned. You know what you did wrong, and we have returned. My ancestors lived through me. I'm not about to reinvent the wheel and create something new that's already here.
Okay.
That's like making a new sun. The sun comes and rises every day. These Europeans probably would try to create a new sun, but why would I create something that's original? You can hide reality and try to make it something else, but when the light shines in the dark, you would see that what you're impersonating is wrong, and it can't be verified. The truth is that's the sun. This fake ball of light that you're trying to create is not the sun. It comes with a light switch. You can turn it off when you feel like it. The sun, you can't turn off when you feel like it. So this is something that you must study as a student, because I'm still a student. I don't know everything.
Right.
I'm well aware and above the science of the world. I'm knowing one of the chosen ones that know what I know. And some of this stuff ain't come out the book. It was given to me. I was guided by my ancestors. And like you said, to be in my position, yeah, it's hard as fuck because everybody depends on you to do something. And they want it done when they want it done as soon as they ask you to do it.
Right.
And the only way we can move forward is I can create duplicates of myself. Not in the sense of you be me, but you in the sense that you can hold the same position I have. Because you my brother and I love to see you step up. We can't think like crabs in a barrel. I don't want to see you rise. Man, fuck that nigga. That nigga ain't gonna be nobody. That's crabs in a barrel. I want to see my brother rise up. If I'm climbing up the ladder and you having problems, it's my job to reach my hand down and pull you up. But I'm not gonna pull my hand in some fucking water that sharks love meat in, because you're gonna bite my hand off.
Right.
Because our people are still in a condition of mind of being selfish. You will submit to a government that don't fuck with you, that enslaves you, that taxes you to death, that rapes your woman, that tells your woman that you ain't shit, you belong in prison, and she belongs on Section 8. What condition that put you in? Dependable. You're not independent, you're dependable.
Right.
If you was given these assistance from this government, you should use the fuck out of them until you become successful. But do our people do it? No, they pass this shit on down and down and down. When you can run the fucking bag up to the ceiling, use these assistants to assist you to become rich and wealthy. But our people don't have the intelligence to think like this. We're going into a new age that our people don't comprehend. I mean, I damn near argued with him more before starting this class. Can you verify that my temple's not right? Listen, Dr. Aleem just did a live video proving who Washington is. Well, I want you to prove it. Why do I have to prove something that he already put it on public records and you have access to sit back and look? I'm not going to the wheel. You're either going to sit down and watch and take the time to learn, or you just shut the fuck up talking to me. And that's why I respect my elders. Yeah, we need to dumb down on the profane and the cursing, you know, because we're supposed to act in a professional manner. But it be so many brothers that want to debate instead of learn or build, because debating is not building.
Right.
So instead of to build and ask me questions and I ask you questions and we go do some homework together and come back as a collectively and rise up, you want to go back and forth. Well, in ghetto terms, you not my bitch, and I'm not about to argue with you, my nigga. So have a nice day. And it's sad that you have to talk to some of these people like that. I never had a debate with a European. Anytime I got into it with a European, because I pissed them off because I gave them the truth. But one thing I respect about him is he really go back to find out to see if I was telling the truth or not. He took the time to do the research. And we have to do the same thing. We have to bring something to the table. I mean, finances is a must. Producing land is a must. Cargo is a must. Uplifting is a must. Learning skills, trades, that is a must. You thinking you're going to be part of Washington, you're going to sit on your ass and do nothing, you need to head back to the plantation. We don't need you.
Right.
You should be on the plantation with the rest of them lazy ass niggas. Matter of fact, we might have one ourselves that you can go pick some corns and some tomatoes and stuff. But these are the things and the lessons that ain't given. We have to keep it real with the people. We can't sugarcoat it. Tell it as it is. Don't make it sugarcoated. We're not a begging nation. That's where people get messed up too. We don't beg nobody to become Washington. We don't advertise it. You don't see me with flyers saying, come join Washington. You have to be chosen. Even though you probably Washington by birthrights, but some of y'all sold us out. You became traitors. You went to deal with the enemy. And it kills me when our people deal with religion and know so much about their pastor and don't know a damn thing about their self. That is crazy. Us that tell the truth, that meditate, that get into the science, the higher self, they will label us as psychos. But really, the world are psychos. The world really has a mental problem. It's not us, it's them. It is not us. We're not the crazy one. They are. Because they can't think for themselves. They're controlled by everything. It's not us. But that's the crazy part about it. They think we're crazy. Oh, you think you know the law and you ain't go get a lawyer and listen, we're not crazy. We just took the time to find ourselves. We study law so we can enforce law. We took the extra step that you ain't want to take. You're lying to yourself. If you accept lies, that means that's your fault. A lot of people are scared of the truth. Let's be real. The truth be right in front of them. They rather deal with the lie because the lie is easier to deal with.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Jesus not coming back to save you. You're going to be dead before he comes back and save you. Let's be real. Noble Drew Ali said, I give you what it takes to save a nation, save yourself. Save yourself? Wait, I thought somebody was coming to save me. Well, if it's only you in the woods and you have no cell phone, the only one that can find themselves outside the woods is who? You. Nobody else is going to guide you out the woods. It's only you in the woods. Same thing with life. Nobody is going to walk you through life. As I said before, as a child, we grew up with all these fucking fairy tales and these holidays and these lies, another form of programming and manipulation. Oh, Santa Claus is coming and I got to be good. And he's checking the list twice to see if I'm naughty or nice. And I'm going to get gifts. I'm going to get codes. Listen, Santa Claus, you ain't coming through my chimney. You ain't coming through no back door, front door. Growing up, I stayed in the hood. You got caught out here with them toys. Them kids was robbing your ass. I don't even know how they believe that shit.
Oh, man, brother. Oh, man.
How did we fall victim to this? Really? Think about it. Do you see all the stuff that we fell victim to? Like, and And they're laughing like, yo, these niggas fell for the Santa Claus scheme. I bet. Hit them niggas with Black Friday. All our people run to the store for Black Friday. That's cool. We getting the cash off, we getting what we need. But let's not forget that on Black Friday, slaves was sold half off. So if that nigga was $500, that means on Black Friday he was sold for $250. That means you get two niggas for one. But these are the things that's not talked about. And then a lot of stuff that they reselling you, they're being restored. That means that once that TV was broke at one point, they had to restore it and then put it back on the shelf. Ain't like it came straight out the man factory, because it did. And went to a restore company. But our people's the first people to run to all the demonstrations. We the first one running. They put us first in line. Food stamps was never made for Black people. It was made for low-class Europeans that couldn't find jobs. Eventually, they had to pass it off to us. But these people mind fuck us over and over again. Now we got our own people mind fucking us with these lies. How? How so? The only person that came in the 90s that proved that we were sovereign beings and not sovereign citizens was Dr. Malachi York. Nobody can argue that at all. The law Dr. Malachi York laid down, nobody can argue with that. How he took back the land, set up the land, had pyramids on the land, etc., etc. The Nubian Washington Wars. But you got all these people trying to demonstrate in these different organizations. If you're going to be an activist department, how about you be an activist department inside the real nation? Why people keep trying to make new flags, new nations, for what? We ain't even got our own shit together yet. Why you keep trying to make something new? We don't have to reinvent nothing. We just have to restore. That's it. We never went nowhere. They killing us. Yeah, our women are being manipulated. We have downgraded our people completely. It's disgusting. Our people, even our women are feeling like it's comfortable to sell themselves. And they're making money off of it. Because we all know sex is the highest product in the world. Sex sells. If it ain't porn that's selling, it's fucking the Holy Bible. One of the two. Because just think about it. If the Bible is the highest selling book in the world, that means this Bible makes over $1 billion a year by itself, because it's sold. So if you have 1 million committed Christians and they buying a Bible that's $13.95, that's $13 million, .95, $13,950,000 off one book. But you got kids starving as Christians. You got people being raped, murdered, etc. Same thing with the Al-Quran being sold. But we can't fix the problems that's going on in our society. Then you have these agents that take leadership and everybody runs behind him. Oh, he's trying to, he's the truth. He's the new Messiah. And you think these Europeans don't know how to set up a black Messiah? You think these people ain't study us enough to have a nigga learn all this science, then come and produce it to the people, then become their leader, and then send them niggas right back into a hellhole?
Yeah, been there, brother. Been there.
These people study us. And you have people that look like you that are traitors. They've been sold out. You just don't know that yet. And the ones that ain't that sold out be the ones that talk so righteous, they don't use profanity, etc. They go by everything that's scripted in the book. But if you was a real leader, you would really just be yourself. A real leader knows that he makes mistakes over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But he still acts in a position of a leader. A false leader, he don't make no mistakes. Everything he said is right. He don't never go back and correct what he did wrong. Same thing with the pastor. We have to quit taking on things that don't belong to us. Noah Drew Ali told you to return Christian religion back to the church, back to the Europeans. How do you return their religion back to them if you open up a More Science Temple of America and you register through the European Secretary? You still ain't returned their shit back to them, did you? How do you open up a masjid but report it back to the Secretary of State? You're not notifying these people. You asking these people to verify and accept you for who you are under the Christian law. But we don't even study the Bible enough to condemn these people with their own book. If you study man's law, you would see that man violates his law every day. Every day. In the courtroom, they say, can you put your hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth? If you can't, can you affirm? Muslims affirm. We don't put our hand on the Bible and swear on the Bible. Because even in the Bible, it says don't swear on the Bible on the heavens or on the earth. Let my yeas be my yeas and my noes be my noes. Damn, y'all violated that shit that quick, but everybody in this motherfucker a Christian. You just violated your own book. You shall be condemned by it. We have to pay attention to what's going on. We are being attacked. It's a cyber attack. It's a spiritual warfare. And we ain't even got into the spiritual class yet. We ain't even got there yet. Some of y'all might like it, some of you won't. That's when you start opening portals and dealing with entities and the dark side and the light side and how to cast spells and how to raise the vibration, etc., etc. This right here is the temple. All of this. This is the temple. That's why you must cleanse it every day. Bath is symbolic to cleansing the spirit, the soul. Supposed to cleanse your feet, etc. So we go into a church or a masjid and thinking that we inside the temple. You're looking outside of your own temple. It's right here. What you looking for? Where are you going? You looking everywhere else but for self. But Lord, I feel like I'm lost. Well, if you lost, you need to go within and see what the problem is. Because looking anywhere else but within, you're going to continue to be lost. Where you going? Peace and love. I want to open up the floor because I want y'all to interact and get some feedback. And I don't want the same brother to keep speaking, which he can, but I want to hear everybody, you know what I mean? Hello? So we got to do like class where the teacher just start calling names.
Peace and love. To reiterate way back on the question you asked about what we feel we can change about the government, is really for them not to even exist because they're the ones who influence our people's way of thinking. I mean, knowledge is power. And a lot of literature states that our people will perish for lack of knowledge. So like he said, you feel me, it's going to be the truth. But also on the flip side, with the darkness and the light, you feel me? If you in a dark room for a long time, you come outside to that light, your eyes gonna hurt a little bit. You feel me? Like, and that's our people now. You feel me? They don't want to open their eyes all the way. It's hurting. That truth is hurting. You feel me? That light is hurting. They used to being in the dark. You feel me? You lay under them covers. You get out, it's cold. You want to get back under those covers to be comfortable. So they really just living in their comfort zone of lies right now. But if they were to open up their eyes and know the truth, because right now we are living under the assumption that we're descendants of slaves. You feel me? That we're not even from here. And they got us feeling like stepchildren on their land. And they do that for a reason. You feel me? Because they want to mentally condition us to be inferior to them, to be slaves to them. You feel me? To really mentally feel like we owe them something for allowing us here on this land. Because if we did know that we were emperors and empresses and we ran empires, you feel me, that we are superior, then the storyline would change. You feel me? People really will wake up and start thinking different. You feel me? You are what you think. So as long as they can keep our people mentally conditioned to think that we're less than, that's what our people are going to be. You feel me? So that's part of our job. I get it. You feel me? To change the narrative and change people's way of thinking, help a system, but that can only go so far. Because like you said, some people don't want to know the truth. You got family members, you feel me? We've been preaching to, that'll still go believe the news before they believe us. You feel me? They'd rather believe a complete stranger than for someone who's close to them and who loves them and who really trying to help them out. But that's just them not wanting to accept the truth. You feel me? A lot of people don't want to grow up because once you elevate, a lot of things in your life are gonna have to change, and people don't want to let those habits go and those comfort zones go to make that change and live life differently. You feel me? So as long as we stay connected, you feel me, and try our best to assist our brothers and sisters, you feel me? But that's gonna be it. It's gonna start mentally. There's nothing we can do, you feel me, on a physical plane, physically, that's gonna help them. Our people have to wake up mentally and break the chains of the matrix, you feel me? And only then we'll be able to overcome the enemy. You feel me? I yield the floor. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And one thing I wanted to bring up, that was like a basically like a alert, was when they was mentioning about where the Biden, I guess Biden was mentioning about approving the mandates for children from 5 to 11 years old. And just to go back to what Chief was saying about the children, us being the children of the ancestors, now our children is being targeted now. It shows the urgent of how as adults we need to be real strategic and responsible for saving the children's future. It's like it's on us now. I don't know who else even, and we thank the elders for the knowledge and the wisdom to pass down for us to get that guidance, but us in this, us pretty much in this world, is not too many of us. We I don't know what it's going to take for us to possibly save the children. We can't save everybody, but I guess starting from somewhere would be good. Starting from somewhere will be good.
You would have to save your own. Check it. These people have caught on. These Europeans that made mistakes. And guess who their teachers was? Their teachers was the Moors. And some of these Moors had made mistakes. We would be in a worse position if these people really set it up their system correctly, they would never let us get to this position we in now if they didn't make a mistake. Now they know they fucked up, and the children of the ancestors have returned. And when we return, we're returning to go to war. We're not returning to do nothing else but go to war.
Right.
They don't want our children to become warriors. So what they do, they want to mandate the vaccination, which program their mind, fucks with their chromosomes, have the little boy acting like he feminine, he confused, he don't know what he want to do, he don't know if he want to wear a skirt or he want to put on some jeans. These are programmed things that they put certain fluids or injections or medicines that have side effects. We don't study these side effects. We just give them to our children. Even growing up, it's fucked up, but I was a wild kid. They said I had ADHD. Any child with ADHD means they have supernatural energy. I don't care what you say. They have supernatural energy, and they have to figure out how they release a lot of that energy. And they're gonna be hard for you because you gonna comprehend that that child that you say have ADHD is really something special. But the problem is, as a child, you load me up with a bunch of pills, Ritalin, Concerta, Adderall. And me being a victim of these pills, all you did is slow down my thinking. You slow me down to the point where if I'm in class, I'm drooling and don't even know it. So now you done took me from a supernatural being to a fucking retard. You throw me all the way down. I was at my highest peak, the fastest one that can do a math test, etc. As soon as you start pumping these drugs in me, I couldn't think. I couldn't function right. I'm drooling. I don't know if I want to stay up or go to sleep. As a child, this is what they did to me. And they did to a lot of kids that had ADHD.
Right.
So you have to see what they have done. Nothing they have done to us was righteous. There's no Jesus that can forgive you for the fucking sin that you caused upon my people. Where? You can't be forgiven for what you did. Certain shit draws a line. You kill our babies. You want their bone arrows. You want their organs to save your people. Your people weren't supposed to be here anyway. Yaku, the big head scientist, shouldn't have been in the fucking lab experimenting with androids and hybrids anyway. And we have to address our people where they're at. If you out of law, brother, you're out of law. That's just what it is. Fuck what you talking about. You're out of law. And that's how we have to run down. Even with the sisters on the sisters. Yo, sister, stop acting like a slut. Put some fucking clothes on. Fuck wrong with you? Run around here with your cut off. That's how you have to run down. All that, oh, sister, you know, it look good on you, but you know, no, it's time to run down and address the problems and the issues in our community and our society, because we're never going to get up and fight until we're correct the shit in our own backyard. It has to be done that way. As a chief, that means you stand firm. There ain't no walking all over you. You have to lay down law, whether the people like it or not. I tell my daughter all the time, I'm your father. I'm not your friend. I'm here to give you guidance, lessons that you must apply to yourself. Yeah, I love you. We have fun time. But sometimes this is what I said and that's what I mean. So tighten up. And if you can't tighten up, then I have to apply pressure. We have to do the same thing with our people. Don't come into the fold half-assing. You want to be half-assed? Go somewhere else with that shit. They got plenty of organizations that allow half-asses. We just don't allow it here. We step on toes over here. You in a way you would be stepped on. We're G.I. Joes. We're in formation. Stay in fucking line. Move when you're ready to move. Follow instructions.
Mhm.
See, it's too much kamikaze shit going on. Know what I mean? We have to have our ducks in a row. If we was on the land and you got military officials on the land, they fucking off. Now we got intruders that have made it through the first gate. Now you gotta run to the first gate to clear them out before they get through the second gate. But if you was standing on your ding like you're supposed to, this would never happen. And it's the same shit that happened with our people. We felt so comfortable around the earth that we was multiplying and we had the majority of the earth that we didn't know they was over there creating some bullshit. And slowly they populated, then they slowly start going to everybody's shit, putting their foot down. Now they kicking everybody's door without they knowing it. Then it hit your door, then it hit this spot, hit that spot. Think about it. It's like the SWAT team. When they started hitting trap houses, boom, they hit this spot, boom, boom, boom. They sat and analyzed and investigated all this shit before they made a hit. So nobody in a tribe get hurt. We have to follow the same structure they're using against it. That's the only way they win it. Pay attention to our police station is structured. Their officers, medical officials, all these different departments pay attention how they move and how they structure it, their policy, how they enforce it, etc., etc. That's why Noble Ali say go get a European education. It ain't say become a European. It says pay attention how these niggas still run the motherfucking world without you knowing. Because you don't understand their structure. You don't understand how they move it. Anybody else questions, concerns? Come on now. I ain't trying to preach no sermon.
Well, what you think about with me? I wanted to ask a question for me personally, being just joining in, like on the like, basically a lot of things that I'm hearing based off of what I'm hearing is accountability. You know, willpower, putting in the effort. You know, so with that being said, it's like, what's the direction for you as the leader? What's the direction for you as the leader that I know you want you want the people need the knowledge, you know, basically to walk in that truth. But physically.
So you basically asking what they gonna do to me.
Huh?
What's my direction?
No, what's the direction that you will want for like somebody coming into the nation? Like what is the direction that you will want for them to go, like the spoon feeder?
I will want you to master everything I tell you to master. Like study religion, study agriculture, study planting, become universal. Stop being in a religious state of mind. Fuck that shit for right now. True religion is astrology itself. That's your religion, your characteristics. That's your religion. Your religion is to focus on yourself. Worship your higher self. But I would want you to become universal. You're no longer stuck in a box. You have become a student inside the university of the universe. So that means you must go through every single class as a student. Every class, think about it. Why the ocean moves the way it do. How many ocean is it? What ocean is what? Land mass. How the land function. Spiders, snakes, guns, cars, airborne, planets, etc. I want you to go outside of your comfort zone and study this stuff. Because then you become a Supreme Grand Sheik. These Supreme Grand Sheiks that they got these titles, these ain't no fucking Supreme Grand Sheiks. Supreme Grand Sheiks are what? You not no universal teacher. You don't teach universal stuff. You teach religion. Tai Chi should be taught. Energy, meditation, levitation, self-initiation, vibration. How do you accumulate more red blood cells? How you get your neural system to work better, which is a nerve system that gives you systems of how to move your hands in. It tells you how to operate throughout your body without you even giving it a direct order. It's just common sense for the body. These are the things I want my people to come in contact with. I don't want to be the only universal thinker because these people don't think on a universal level. Damn, they don't even think on an international level, not even a national level. These people think on a local level. That's it. If you've never been outside the hood, how can you think about anything outside of the hood? You can't. We have to create more heads in this nation because they gonna kill us. Me, I'm gonna be assassinated. The rest of the elders are gonna be assassinated. We doing too much. Or we're gonna be bought out, one or the other. You can't buy me, send me to the next dimension. Fuck it, it is what it is. You have to understand this stuff comes with degrees. Jesus died at 33. Nipsey Hussle died at 33. You better check the numbers. 3 times 3 is 9. Born to Aboriginal self. Master Mason. And a lot of people scared of the Freemason demonstration. Dr. Alim El Bey is a Freemason. But he tell you he never took no oath. It's our birthrights, the Moors' rights. We ain't gotta take no oath. Oath to who? This is our motherfucking science you playing with. That G is the 7. The number of G is 7. That 7 belongs to me. That G do too for geometry. So people are scared to get into that science. Oh, the Illuminati and the elites and this and the third. Are you going off what you know? Or are you going off what you heard? Because this shit is deeper than that. These secret cults, they don't give out information because they swore an oath not to run their fucking mouth. And if they do, they're going to die about it. And it's their job to be gatekeepers to keep the gates closed from your ass from getting in. Because if you get in, then you will find out that this college that they protecting belongs to you. Do you know the first palace on record in the United States is the fucking White House? That is a Moorish palace that does not belong to Europeans. Why do you think there's a gate around it? What was the United States before these colonizers come over here trying to occupy it? America was broken down in different nations and tribes and et cetera, et cetera. Ain't no way in hell they brought all these people over here on a slave ship to fill this landmass up. That's a damn lie.
Easily manipulated.
People believe in fairy tales. These people believe anything you tell them. They're pushing homosexuality on our kids, teaching them transgender. That goes against natural laws.
Yeah.
It goes against natural laws. To be a man and think that you're a woman, something's fucking wrong with you. You need to go see a therapist. Something's not adding up. These people done gave you some hormones in your food and it ain't working out right. So we have to do our research. We have to fix the problem before it becomes worse. You need to rig that plumbing, but sooner or later that motherfucking pipe gonna bust again. Why not just replace the pipe so it ain't a problem? It's so much stuff to learn that it gives me a headache. Because these people have fucked us over for decades and decades and decades and decades. And they did it with the hands of our people that look like us. The Mayan Empire was infiltrated by Cortez Hernandez. That was a Spaniard. They ain't sent no European over there to deal with the Mayan Empire. They sent a motherfucker that looked like them with brush cut that knew how to talk and dialogue, and he finessed them. What you think a spy is? If they send a spy to Africa, you think he gonna be European? No, he's gonna be fucking African. He gotta be able to blend in. If they send a spy into Washington, guess what? He's gonna be trying to speak Washington language. But us as spiritual beings, if we get the negative vibe, we know what to do with you.
Yeah, I believe it, man, because I remember looking at a video back then, and it was like when the jab stuff first came out in 2020. They was talking about how the atmosphere changing and all this. The information is out now for us to, I guess, enlighten ourselves. A lot of people gonna be getting separated from the others. Just a lot of different stuff going on. But the main thing was like, oh, they know that these people want a leader. These people want somebody to claim so bad. So that be the opportunity for them to send in somebody, just like you said, your own, because of being so desperate to have something that, like you said, instead of having one, for you to have all the knowledge and understanding yourself, why would you want that? Then basically nobody else around you will be as effective the same way you are. So that's extremely important, and I understand where you're coming from. That's why I asked you that question earlier, because I wanted it like that, knowing your purpose, or not your purpose, but knowing your direction you want to walk in, and being able to walk in that direction. You do want somebody to get there, sharpen be accountable to sharpening their skills and on all the knowledge or whatever we need to learn.
If I didn't want to teach you what I know, I'd be like the rest of these corrupted ass leaders. They don't want to teach you everything. They want to teach you enough so you become a follower. I don't want no motherfucking followers around me. I want leaders. You got me, I got you. Don't worry about it. What I want for my brothers, what I want for myself. And what that sister want for her sister, she should want for herself. And we got to get rid of these egos and all that stuff. It's so much things that need to be talked about, and it's not talked about. Like the next class, I go in depth with polygamy, which was started by a woman, and get into the slave trade, where the Arabics was a part of the slave trade. Walaikum salam, Walaikum salam, brother, and how the Quran and pass off the slaves. I thought that was your Muslim brother. What the fuck? You done push this nigga into the slave trade? What's really going on? Just look at it. Pay attention to the streets. These niggas telling on each other. They telling on themselves. They killing each other for no reason. It's senseless. Come on, man. This shit wicked. You want to beef over a female that's not mine or yours? You go to jail. She fucking another nigga. Right. You don't see them killing each other over you. So why the hell you killing each other over them? You see, we made ourselves competition among ourselves. We can't compete with these Europeans right now. We're not in a capability to. I might have the mind to beat the Europeans and their system, but I don't have the manpower. So if you don't have the manpower, then you got to dumb it down and be quiet. until you build the manpower.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much stuff that needs to be talked about, and we're trying to be like everybody else. That's the bad. The Africans, they don't like us. They ain't coming to help us. If they did, they would have been here by now. And they already. You think they give a fuck about you? No. They separate themselves from us too. They start speaking that. What the fuck is you saying? Ain't I'm your brother? Why y'all gotta talk like that around me? Same thing with the Arabics. They get to speak in Arabic. If D was your brother, they wouldn't have secret conversations in front of you. They probably talking about you and know you ain't and know you can't comprehend the language. We have to fix the problem here in America. Tamari, the Kemetic. This is Egypt. Egypt was over here, not over there. America's ancient. It's not a new continent. Yeah, the Great Atlantis earthquake shifted the landmass. But if America was a part of Africa and Africa was in the area where North America was, which is North America, and the land shift, don't that tell you Egypt went to the west? If the land shifted, if Egypt is here and the earthquake shifted the land, where is Egypt? Egypt went with the landslide. The land shifted. But our people can't think that far. We have pyramids here. Washington is the mound builders. What are we looking for? Aliens or something? We here. It's us. We ain't gotta go nowhere. Them Indians, they can go back to their fucking land. That's our distant brothers. They corrupted. They don't fuck with us. It's like your half brother. We ain't got the same daddy, nigga. We half brothers. Well, take your half ass back where you came from, where your mama womb. Simple as that. Because full-blooded brothers treat themselves better than half brothers. Sometimes. But at the end of the day, where did you come from? I came from my mama. So we got different daddies, but we share the same mama. But we got different mamas, that means we share two different nationalities. Because if you ask man where he come from, he better tell you the womb, because he got a belly button. That means there was an umbilical cord that was connected to him and his mother. The firm relationship started off with you and your mama. So it's just a lot of things that need to be talked about and explained and to go in depth. And one thing y'all should be looking forward to is the United States has a space force. My opinion, the only reason you got a space force because you going to war with a whole nother planet, then you don't want to tell nobody shit. But point blank period. That's just how I feel. It might be allegory, but hey, why the fuck you got a space force for? What is it?
Experiment in the atmosphere. There's something up there for us, must be. Because they always try to act like they're a step ahead.
It's our ancestors, bro. You don't think we won't be flown around in spaceships and stuff in the year 3000? What's that movie? Pluto, Mars, or something with Eddie Murphy? Like, we gotta go back and check that stuff out. They gave it to us already. The Jetsons flying around and shit. They already got the smart house. You can unlock your doors from your cell phone. That is the stupidest shit you can ever do is get a smart house. Because somebody hack your motherfucking account, they going to unlock your doors and walk up in that motherfucker. So I'm going to put the key doors back in where you got to unlock it with a key.
No cap.
It's more secure. Your privacy is being invaded. But anyways, well, I want to close it out. I'm gonna pass the mic to everybody. I want some questions, concerns, some feedback, something. I need to get this from everybody because you got to engage. This is a class. Classroom, everybody engage and participate. I know we take notes, but what you got on your notepad? So, whoever want to go first, inshallah.
Peace and love. Just want to say it's important to basically, start with self. And that's what we got to do when we building yourself and trying to build this nation. I think that's what we're missing. And that's why we're struggling so much to basically try to do what we need to do. I was in class with Dr. Alim today, and he was talking about some other people who trying to claim Washita and on the fraud. So he was real going hard on them today, and he about to release that video too. But basically, we just gotta stay true to ourselves and study the information that's out there and that is already set. As the chief says already, everything is already set in stone. Basically, all we got to do is, basically apply ourselves, our higher selves, and everything will be cool. So I pass the floor to somebody else. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Shay, someone pass the floor to Tryon L.
Peace, peace, peace. How's everybody doing? I'm a little under the weather though, but I'm paying attention. But I'll give y'all a little something. From what I learned from this pandemic, 2021, we would have thought that the most thing washed in 2021 was the hands, but in my opinion, it was the brain that's been washed the most in 2021. I feel us as Washita, I seem like we the last one standing because it seems like we gotta uplift some of the uplifters, the other sets of Moors, because it's like the Temple Moors is actually, they really church Moors, and their belief system, I don't know how they got so far to the left to where they uplifting, they're doing the science, they know the science, but they're scared to stand on the science. And I don't understand that. Why is you doing all these lessons, doing all the studying, et cetera, but you're not enforcing it. They're not enforcing anything. And like I said, I feel our work is doubled, but I feel we up to the task. We don't ask for anything, like the commander said. So let's continue to be great, and I yield.
All praise.
Ashay. Kalina.
Islam. Just been taking in information. I've noticed recently that, upon learning more about, kinetic science and going deeper, you kind of you start to fall away from some of your everyday things, like you were saying. Normally, like your daughter, she'll just pick up her phone, and being an entrepreneur nowadays is easy for like online business and stuff. But you just realize and make sure you're always staying on top of your, mastering yourself and meditating and stuff in the morning. That's more important than everything that's going on right now. So that's what I'm taking away.
Ashay. Mercy. Mercy in the building.
Peace and love. I'm in the building. I don't want us to echo. I agree. So like, we all need to keep our mental health up to par and in state so we'll be able to assist others. I be wanting to talk about a lot, you feel me? Like there's a lot of everyday issues that we need to talk about. Like I get we can talk about what we're gonna do to assist people and to bring them out of mental slavery. But in the meantime, we need to be keeping up with current events and what's going on because like Azrael has said months ago, we need to be at their front door before they at ours. And they coming. I mean, they trying to control the big cities. LA, New York, Chicago, the top 3 largest cities. You feel me? Once they are able to control those, they'll be able to control the smaller cities. So I'm just really about taking action. We need to get on the ball. You feel me? Like time is limited. And everybody needs to contribute something to the tribe so we could be able to survive. Like it's really getting real, and we almost 2 years into this pandemic or shutdown, and we just know it's coming. You feel me? Like I get it. We need to save other people. We need to build the tribe, and we can also do that, but we need to take action as well. Because while we're using that time and energy to try to save these people, we could be using that energy to save ourselves as we're supposed to. So yeah, like we see it happening. You feel me? It's these thousands of cargo ships still waiting along the border. A lot of them have tilted over into the ocean. You feel me? Now they're lost at sea. I wonder if they got paperwork on that. But yeah, you feel me? Like my main goal is we would have to get rid of the problem. You feel me? To find some solutions, and we know what the problem is. You feel me? So I'm ready for war because I know it's gonna go down, and they gotta go. You feel me? Like I get everything that we can come up with and cluster ideas, but they're not gonna stop. You feel me? We can't stop because they definitely not gonna stop. While we sleeping and partying and studying and doing everything else, they're up taking notes and planning in the next 500 years. You feel me? We trying to plan the next 6 months, and they're planning the next 500. You feel me? So I just feel like we should interact more, communicate more, and we need to take action more. We need to meet up more. We need to have something set in stone. You feel me? We need plan A, B, C, D, and all the way to Z. Like we need it all. You feel me? I yield the floor. Ashe and peace and love.
Peace and love, Ashe.
704.
And percent, pretty much, I feel like you just focus on yourself. How can I explain this? Yeah, I would just say just worry about yourself because the government, they always at least 20 years, 40 years ahead, even in technology. So you gotta really think about everything that's going on. There's way too much going on. I would worry about what's around you and the people that's around you that's actually gonna uplift you. And then from there you can start. Like what y'all for saying. I mean, that's all I have to say.
It's a
The
704
question.
number.
Hello. wanna cite off of what the sister was speaking on from her point of view, um, because you know moving energy, just like energy is always moving, and us for us to get some type of result, we gotta always apply we gotta apply some action to get the results. Um, but with the resources and based on the current conditions of people, families, financial situations, um, whatever it could be that you know that could slow the process down. How do we I mean, I know we got to put in some effort or work, but with the reality, how do we push forward to get the result we need based on the current conditions? Because we still already kind of in a bond, trying to make something out of nothing. And it's like the things, that the ideas or the ideologies or possibly even the facts that remain. Like, how are we physically going to get there based on the conditions? How do we set up those programs to where it's actually beneficial for everybody to contribute or to play a part, based on what's going on? And then it's like, if we move, what is the direction we trying to move? What is the result from it? And like, what is the end goal? Because it has to be a goal, because everybody's pushing for something. We all a part of this to get a result out of something, even if it's self. What are we trying to leave behind? Is it only the land? Is it only cleansing the mind? Because we all have the direction. We all have, walking into the righteousness or walking into the truth to go in the path. Is like, do we just go and see what we get out of it, or is it a real direction we go in, based on the current conditions? Because one thing, I speak from this perception, because I was that same person that was righteous and that wanted to walk in that righteousness, and then I go in that righteousness, and then you think you on a mission to getting results, and it end up being bad. Sometimes it backfire against you. So sometimes this is just I can only speak from my perception. I can't speak for others. But one thing I can say is, even with the elders, even with the people that have the knowledge, that know these things been going on for so long, and there's only a certain few that's going to come together and try to build the work towards something. And it's like, do we continue being that small group, or do we show them how dangerous we is with it, to be able to change the society and the masses? And I really feel like, not even feel, just like you saying, we have to restore it. That is only going to happen through effort. It's not. Everybody do have to contribute in whatever way, shape, or form they can. But a start would be somewhere. To where we have to, like, we're talking to people, we're getting results, we move in the masses, and it's just it's going to have to be like that, to the point. Sometimes we might have to sacrifice a lot of things. And the question remains still: are we really mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually ready to just go and never look back? Or are we waiting for those certain signs to let us know when to do what at what time? Because it's other people that's also working other than us, but we can't worry about them, but we do at the same time. So it's like, I'm just speaking my mind, man. I maybe clarity will come through in due time. So hey, I'm not sure, man. I wish I had. I wish I knew. I wish I had all the answers. But it's like, us being so smart and gifted and talented and chosen. It's like, you just walk in the direction of knowing, or do you walk in the direction of faith of not knowing?
Faith.
You know, hey,
Faith
we
without
go,
works is dead.
huh?
Faith without works is dead.
Say that one more time, brother.
Faith without works is dead. That means if you walk in faith without knowing, then you're just asking to die.
Right.
So why would you let a blind man leave a blind man? That's
Right.
not
Right.
cool. And that's what some of these leaders have took that position and led us back into slavery. Look at everybody we done follow. Nobody has led us out of freedom yet. I mean, out of slavery yet. Name one person that led us out of slavery yet. We're looking for somebody to free us when we're supposed to be freeing ourselves. Literally.
That's what I'm saying. It's like with the direction, because I want to stay on the sister that was just speaking on that. It hit me because we have to get the results. We have to do something, because knowing the information and not applying it, that's a big problem we have today. You know, that it's so bad you can't even build with the brothers in your area, or you can't even build with your own certain family, you know, to establish even a damn corner store or something. You know, so how, like, with us being who we are, what are we trying to work towards to build, and how are we going to do it based on the conditions?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, that definitely would be a question, because I feel like I would have an answer, you know, because I'm not dumb to what's going on and what direction we could possibly go in. But at the same time, as even in the knowing, do you just apply that knowledge that you have to get some results?
So ask me that question directly.
Mm-hmm.
Rephrase the question and ask it to me directly.
Okay, so basically, because the sister was saying we need to go in a direction, we need to start knowing each other, meeting up, what's the word for it? Establishing something, you know, whether it's land, whether it's you know, business, whatever it may be that we can capitalize off of to spread the basically the awakening that our people need. You know, so speaking to you, asking you directly, you being in the knowing, or even going off faith, in a direction where, how could we get that result in the conditions? And what I say in the conditions, because we all, I don't know other people's situations, I can only speak for mine, but I do know the people I'm around, we're struggling. We don't have much. We was brainwashed. People tapping into new things they're trying to work in, whether it's getting their own businesses, whether it's leaving the system and breaking off from them. But it's like, how do we realistically do it, even in the knowing and having all this knowledge or information? How do we get that result physically to actually show these people this is a real deal situation? This, you know, people want the results. People want the results based off what they see. And then the sad part about it is so much people giving that truth, and so much people sharing that with the people and telling us to walk in that direction. But then they like, damn, well, what the hell, you got all this, but what are you doing? You see what I'm saying? So what is the verdict, or what is the end goal for us to reach there, so we can give the people the results?
So my
You know, I guess like I wouldn't need like you to describe a blueprint, But I'm talking about realistically because
I wouldn't describe a blueprint. My words of wisdom would be, if you don't take what I give you seriously, they will murder me before you even comprehend the science that I give you. Because I'm not an agent. I have no oath with nobody. My oath is with the ancestors and the creators. I was sent as one of the 144,000 to do what I'm here to do. It's not telling you I'm a prophet or a messenger or anything. I know I'm part of a sacred order that comes from the Most High. That's why I'm so intellect and I can comprehend certain things. And a lot of people around me, they fear it. Like, why you talk about death a lot? Why you don't want to be here? I'm not suicidal. Just tired of dealing with people that can't comprehend. I'm still telling you the same thing I told you last year and the year before. So the goal is action. We've been talking all our life. When do we shut the fuck up and listen, observe, respect, apply, and move? Because if you pay attention to all these different leaders, they have did nothing but ran their fucking mouth and put the people around them in money positions, but keeps them quiet, but they get to live a good life and still don't see what the fucking problem is. I was given opportunity to get put in them positions. I denied it. You can't buy me. I'm not for sale. There's no cost that you could pay for my soul. My soul don't have a price on it. My soul has to return back where it came from. What people don't understand is time is limited. I'm not gonna be here forever. I don't look to be here at the age of 70 or 60 years old. I wouldn't even want to be here in that time. But I want to give my people the science and opportunity to change the situation. We are at war. We've been at war. We've been under the commands of another nation that doesn't have the same ethnicity or nationality as us. These things been going on for decades. And if we don't step up to the plate, we're doomed. And we have to stop bitching. If you spend money with McDonald's, you can take some of that money and put it into our pot.
No cap.
With these Europeans, you can turn around and put money into this pot. I hustle. And I ain't talking about drugs. I'm just saying network. You got people selling, I ain't gonna say it, but they get 100 for 50. You get 200 for 100. Now, I mean, that's how you get your stocks of food. It's hustling. But you're not doing nothing illegal. And you're still on a straight and narrow. There's different ways we can bring resources back to the tribe. We have to stop acting as a broke people. For this tribe, I done spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I done made money. But I can't do it by myself. If that's the case, I might as well set up off the grid by my damn self. I'll be okay. I promise you I can survive in the jungle by myself. I can. I have the training, I have the intelligence, etc. But I would like to see my tribe be successful. But we gotta stop half-assing. I love all my tribe, and I hope they love me back. I wake every day and study and study and study. This book right here is big as hell. I still haven't mastered this book. It's a military survival book. I mean, I study to bring y'all back information, but the time is tripling down. We need arms. We need stocks of food. You need medical supplies. You need military gear. You need arms, shells, ammunition, things that we need to start bringing in every day of the week. Every day, there should be a message in the chat of what you got to offer on the table. I promise you, I can find something I can bring to the table every day. And that's what needs all this talking and building and etc. Fuck all that. It's time for an action move. I'm not even in North Carolina right now, and I have a storage unit that's full of food. But now I have to change the key because we had an imposter. We had somebody that turned into an enemy. Now I have to send somebody to go cut the locks and put new locks on the storage unit. And this is what we deal with, our own fucking people becoming corrupted. So I don't want nobody on board, because if you're not going to be 100% committed, you're wasting my time and your time. And I'm not going to leave this earth. If they're sent to kill me or whatever, my ancestors won't let you do it until I do my job. So I won't give a fuck what type of person would send anybody to become an inflator. One thing as a God and as who I am, I don't fear death. It doesn't move me. I lost so many people this year, I become numb to death. It's just something that happens. That don't mean that I'm evil. I just know how to cope with it now. So anytime, anybody can leave. It doesn't matter. It was at a point in time that they had to leave. But our people really have to start making action moves as of tomorrow. Talking about it ain't gonna do nothing. Being about it is when you do something. But I want to yield the floor to 704 783 8681. Who is that?
That's me, bro.
Oh, yeah, bro.
You said 783?
Yeah, that's you. My bad. Pardon me, sis. But you got the floor for questions.
I don't really have any questions right now. I'm just sitting back, kind of listening.
What's your insight?
As far as putting something in every day, it could be different stuff. You know, I mean, you can do small stuff like bring a jug of water, you know, or a case of waters, or buy something that we would need, like gauze or band-aids, alcohol, because they're gonna sell out of that stuff. Like when I go in the stores now, I really don't see nothing like that on the shelf. Like I be looking for alcohol all the time and I don't really see it. They just now getting where they got little bottles of sanitizer on the shelf. So stuff like that, like soap, because learn how to make soap, because they're not gonna have any of that either. So learning how to make natural soaps and learning how to put which plants in it, depending on different skin types. Some people have dry skin, some people have oily skin. So somebody to just, have that on deck where you can actually get soap made by one of us, because it ain't gonna be none of that on the shelf. And just like little stuff we need, like socks, gloves, just normal stuff that we're gonna need. Fresh t-shirts, because this is the stuff that's gonna be gone.
And do we have do we have that situated as far as like, where we sending to, how we sending it to, drop off, stuff like that?
We do have. I would not discuss that up here because it's recorded.
Right.
We put on
Right.
public for people that missed. Um, North Carolina, we do have a unit that's filled with food and et cetera, et cetera. Next month, me and the COD is traveling to the land to litify that. It's some trees that need to be cut down, whatever, blase, blase. But the second week of November, it'll be a bug out for all military officials. And we'll be going to train on the land for that weekend, period. You're going to be outside. It's going to be cold. It's going to be bugs. It might be snakes. Who cares? You're going to learn how to cope with it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a bug out situation in Georgia. We got that set up, and I'll put it in the group chat. But I ain't gonna get off topic because we're still recording.
Right.
Right. Another thing I want to add is it's not just learning military tactics, but I read books on, natural medicines, natural plants that you can eat, something you can actually, for the people who have a yard and don't live in an apartment complex, you can actually grow a few things because that's going to be your food. You got to also remember, just in case there's no electricity, these people don't know how to take some water, some salt, and copper and magnets and create electricity. It's not going to be enough of that. So for the people who are going to need, stuff that involves that to keep their food fresh, that's the reason for growing your food outside and not having to freeze meat or, trying to cook something like starches, because just in case you do have to hit the woods and run, you're not going to want something heavy like that in your body. You're going to want something that's going to give you energy, going to replenish your energy, and going to keep you, strong and healthy. So you're going to be wanting to eat fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. And when I say fresh, I do not mean cooked, because when you cook it, you kill it and you're taking away the nutrients. So that's something else that you're gonna want to, make sure people understand and know. Make sure, people know not to drink too much water when the time comes, because that could also make you heavy. There's water in your vegetables and fruits, and you got to know how much. That's why we eat it. That's why it replenishes our body, because our body is also, made a lot of water. So you don't want to just chug down bottles of water. You get it from your fruits and vegetables. So it's just like small medical things that people need to know and understand as well. So you should put that into the cipher to make sure people know and understand, like, just getting a spider bite from a brown recluse or something. You want to know exactly what to do at that moment and how to stop it from spreading, because that could be deadly. And it's just a lot of stuff that people really don't know and understand. So of course they're gonna be scared, and you talking about hitting the woods, and they really don't know how to maneuver in the woods and how to, go about certain stuff that could potentially happen. Like I said, spider bite, they got kids. People really don't know how to. I mean, if you from the country, yeah, you might have heard about, if you get a snake bite, you got to suck the poison out. But it's a proper way of going about that. So that's something else that we need to continue to talk about, and try to get books on stuff like this. Like, just try to keep in tune with it and make sure that we connect on that level. so that everybody can know exactly what to do.
I see.
Shay. The next, I want to give it to our brother out there in Dallas, Texas, the brother Dre LD. You still up here, Drizzy?
Islam, I'm still here. Man, I've been dealing with my pops. You know, I was telling you that my pops is sick, and it ain't looking too good for him. But we've been having these conversations about just where the world is right now, and I've been trying my best to like open his eyes as to what I'm doing right now with my life, being a part of this tribe, and what I'm trying to do for my daughter's life. And it's like when I listen to everybody speak and give their aspects, it just kind of reminds me, you know, I'm making the right decisions, not only for myself, but for her and everybody's generation that is to come. I mean, it's so much influence, like the brother Trayon was saying, you know, so much brainwashing going on to where people just living in fear. And it's like they just going by whatever they being told to do. You know, if the TV, the news tell them that they need to do this, then they do it. If they hear some celebrity that they idolize tell them to do this, then they do it. And it's like, you know, it's such a fight for the mind right now. And it's like we got to stay sharp, you know, having these meetings and checking up on each other, and just iron sharpening iron. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like, you know, that's what we really need as a tribe, as well as getting together and speaking on, you know, how we can contribute and keep on building. But it's definitely a fight for the mind right now.
Oh, crazy.
Well, peace and love. Just stay focused, bro. I know you talked to me about what you're going through with your pops. You just got to manifest positive energy. As my brother, I'm always going to check in on my brothers if I don't hear from them. You know what I mean? Because if I don't hear from you, I in my heart, I feel like it's something going on. So, you know, just got to stay focused, and, you know, you got to speak the word, the life in the people. Because there's people I talk to and they ain't get it till 3 years later. They're like, bro, remember you said this? You know what? You was right. So it's all about planting a seed. Remember, we all have a voice, and we should plant seeds inside these people. You might not see the seed grow right now, but you planted a seed that's going to grow. Because eventually that seed has to rise up, and it has to sprout out. And that's why I plant so many seeds into the youth, because they're our future to come. The future depends on us. And I know elders be looking at me like I'm young. They like, oh, you the future. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm no longer the future. I'm becoming wiser and experiencing a lot at a young age. I feel like I'm 75 years old. So I want to drop these jewels into the youth that's really young, because they're the generation after. So we just got to stay focused, and we can bring something to the tribe every day, whether it's this knowledge, whether it's information, stocks, donations, whatever. Because we have to, it takes finances to rise as a nation. Your nation can't rise higher than its woman. And we have to be properly prepared. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So if we're not properly prepared for what the storm to come, we're going to suffer behind the effects that it takes tolls on our life. So with that being said, I want to close out. Peace and love. All honors to our ancestors, our bloodlines, the prophets, the messengers. I just ask that the universe give us guidance and the forces from the different entities that we need to fight this unseen war and this seen war, and just meditate. Take time, at least one time out your day. It could be 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Even when you wake up, you need to just write a note. Stop. Let me sit down, meditate before I start my day. What can I do better in my day that I didn't do the day before? I mean, these are life skills that we should take. Pay attention more to your children. They need guidance. They don't always need phones and technology because they're starting to become corrupted. I even got to do better with my daughter because she know every fucking song on TikTok, but she still can't recite certain things that I be teaching her. So, we have to pay attention to these things because it will mess with their mental, and it's called programming. So we the ones supposed to program our reflections with the truth. So with that being said, that's your homework for the week. Really, your homework for the week is to bring me back something that you haven't studied. I mean, think outside the box. Think of something that you don't know that you would need to know in order to survive when stuff hit the fan. This food stocking and this military training is serious. Hand-to-hand combat, getting arms and ammunition is serious. We can't defend our tribe, our family, if we don't have the proper tools to do so. So please don't take this as a game. This is not a joke. This shit is getting closer and closer. I can feel it. I've been talking about this stuff for a couple years. Everybody should be out scouting and trying to recruit good, solid people. We should at least be bringing in people at least once a week. Everybody should be able to bring in 10 people. 10 people. 10 people you can trust is willing to learn. Know what I mean? If you can't convince them, I'm pretty sure I can. But it's all about building a nation and bringing finances and resources so we can stand tall. But other than that, peace of love and light energy.
Peace and love.
Peace and
brother.
love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.